Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a really interesting release from a brand that's come back into the industry. That's right, I'm talking about Lanzera. I'll get into all the details for you in this review and where to get them. Before we get into the review, let's chat about the brand's history. There were four brothers from New Jersey that began their football journey by playing and then getting into business together. They opened up a few stores and then in the mid-80s got the distribution rights to Diadora for the US market. Instead of continuing to help that brand grow, the brothers chose to create their own brand in the early 90s. The name actually comes from their school mascot, the Lancers. They currently offer the Professionale boot, an indoor shoe called the Jackal, and some apparel. The Professionale we'll go over made its limited quantity return in 2024 with just 2,024 pairs released at $295. In honor of tradition, the upper is still K-leather, which is to be expected for a classic boot like this. They're all handcrafted in Brescia, Italy, which gives it another level of quality. This leather is very soft out of the box, the leather has a decent amount of volume, and the stitching, especially around the toe box, is really well done. As I have mentioned in other videos, the more stitching a boot has, the longer they'll maintain their shape without overly stretching. This is a move that Mizuno does really well too. Lastly, there's the tongue, which has some branding on it. I'm not a huge fan of the tongues that don't provide a way to keep them down, but it does make them look very traditional, which is obviously what they're going for. Moving on to the sole plate, this is as classic as it gets. It's a very flexible plate with long conical studs. You get decent traction and the studs will of course allow you to turn with ease. I don't really have an issue with these, but I wish the studs were a little bit shorter so you can get away with wearing these on AG. I understand though that this is primarily for natural grass, so I can't be too harsh on them. Just a quick note before we continue. If you're a fan of the channel and want to stay up to date with the latest releases, please be sure to subscribe. This really helps the channel and allows me to do more videos for you. Now let's get back to the review. In terms of fit, they feel ready to use right out of the box, honestly. The leather makes these very comfortable and the heel does a great job of locking you in place. I also have to give them props for not making these super wide like most of the other classic boots in the market today. These actually feel great even for someone like me who doesn't have wide feet. If you have wide feet, I wouldn't recommend them, but they will stretch. If you like a really snug fit, like me, this may be the classic boot that you've been looking for. Judging by the initial fit and feel, I would say these will probably take about 4 to 5 sessions to break in. If you're looking at trying out a pair for yourself, I would recommend going down half a size. I normally wear a size 8 US and the ones on my feet now are a size 7.5 US. Now let's review the biggest win and loss of these boots. The win here is that although this boot is obviously a classic, it doesn't feel like it, and in a good way. The plushness of the leather isn't overdone, it's a little thinner than the classic Morelia, I'd say. Also, most classic boots are made on the basis that most people can wear them, from people with skinny feet all the way to very wide feet. I think these offer one of the best snug feelings you can get with a classic silo, so they're not really suitable for players with wide feet, which I really like. The biggest loss is that this boot at $295 is going to have a rough time in the current market. Now, I'm not saying they're not worth the money, but it's tough to justify the cost of these when a classic made in Japan Morelia retails for $280. I'm sure that this is more of a supply chain challenge because they only came out with so many pairs, but ideally I would have loved to have seen these closer to $250. That's the Lanzera Professionale for you. I'll leave a few links in the description in case you're interested in buying these. If you have any questions or opinions about these, leave them down below and I'll answer them as they come. See you on the next one.